everyone, welcome back to Young, Dumb, and Thriving. Today you are here with your host, Charmaine, and our beautiful, beautiful guest, Crystal Hoang.
Hey,
so go ahead, Crystal, and tell them a background of yourself.
First off, I want to say, Charmaine, she's going to be a boss in the future. I'm telling you right now, you know I've always told you that you're going to go far, you're going to be famous. I'm just saying, I'm putting this on camera.
Thank you.
Because in the future, when you become famous,
you
better remember me. Okay, well, a little bit of background about myself. I grew up in El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
My family consists of my mom, my dad, my little brother, myself. Did I already say that? Myself?
No.
And myself. We grew up in El Paso, Texas. Our childhood mostly was really, I wouldn't say anything negative about it. It was amazing. My mom and dad worked hard to provide everything for us, everything that they can possibly provide. It wasn't the fanciest clothes or the fanciest things, but it was great. Me and my brother always, played outside. Kids nowadays don't even
at all
play outside anymore. I can say up to maybe 15, 16, I was always outside with my friends. Other than that, life was great. I have no complaints, no negative memories about growing up.
So, one, we're going to get into the topic of, because you did mention that you grew up with a father. So we're going to obviously discuss a little bit on that, because today's segment is a discussion about, is it important for a father to be in a daughter's life? Now, Crystal was blessed to have a man come into her life after her biological father was not present, right?
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about that. One, let's start with that. Do you feel it is important for your biological father to be present in a daughter's life? Why or why not?
I personally, in a daughter's life, it's totally different. I personally do not think it is important, only because a daughter always has their mother. If it was a boy, on the other hand, I do believe that a boy does need their father figure. But my dad, he came into my life when I was about 4 years old. I call him my dad. He's my dad. He's really my stepdad. But he came into my life around 4 years old, and ever since then, he's known as my dad. He's raised me. He made me the woman I am today. So, speaking of, if like a biological father a biological father should be in, I don't necessarily think so, into a daughter's life. I don't necessarily think so. That shouldn't stop you from becoming the woman that you want to be. As far as boys, I can't really speak on that subject, because I truly believe that all boys should have their fathers.
Right. Okay, that's a good point that you brought up, though. Like you said, there is a difference from a woman being raised by a man and a man trying to be raised by a man, And like you said, you really believe that a father should be present in his son's life because, one, he's becoming a man. So he has to have a visual of what a man is. And two, a woman, we have our mothers to look up to. So even if our father is there or not, we still have an ideal of what a woman should be. Now, would you say that affected you, though, emotionally?
No.
Okay.
That has not affected me. Like I said, I see my father as my father, and that has not affected me whatsoever. My dad, my real dad, I've only seen him maybe, I want to say, a total of 5 to 10. I can't even count. Maybe I could count on one hand, 5 times that I've actually seen him throughout my whole life. So it doesn't affect me whatsoever. Like I said, I am the woman I am today,
Because you're your mother and your father right now.
So I know.
So she's different from me. Then this is why this is discussion, honey. We got tea right here.
We got the tea,
the personal tea. So for me, I actually feel a little bit opposite. Why? Maybe because my stepfather, the man that's married to my mother, was not a father figure to me. And maybe that was because he came in at a later time and I was already like 11 years old. So I already knew who my father was. I was, I was a daddy's girl, even though daddy didn't live there. I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you miss him so much that at the point they're your best friend, but you ain't never talked to him. Kind of like that. That was the type of relationship.
That's crazy.
Right.
Wait, so you talked to your dad?
Oh, yeah. So literally I went through a point. So in the beginning years of my life, my father was there, present. He did not join. I think he started working as a truck driver. I can't remember my age. My older siblings know that type of information. I wasn't paying attention as a kid. I just remember we had a conversation when I was like 10. And he was like, Charmaine, this is going to be the last time you see daddy for a long time. Are you sure you don't want to come with me? And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving my mom with this strange man. At the time, I was a child. So that's what I was thinking because she was getting remarried to her husband now. And so that was the last time he watched me. And I had not seen him until 7 years. Until I was 17 years old and left to go live with him for like 3 months. But before that, I did not talk to him. Like during that 10 to 17, them 7 years, I did not. My siblings did. I could have if I wanted to. I was just a kid. I wasn't really worried about, let me call my dad on the phone, because I honestly didn't like our conversations because it would be about adult stuff. Like my dad would make sure like
did you do this?
Exactly. So I'm like, yeah. Literally, I would remember myself being on the phone like, okay. Literally. So I was like, I'm not gonna call him. We don't talk about nothing. But I honestly felt that if my dad was more present in my life, I would not have been so emotionally distraught, if I could put it that way. As a child, I remember, and like I said, maybe it's because the man that my mom married, she married him late to me because I was 11.
I think that does make a difference.
Yeah, because when my school did like father-daughter dances, fatherless. When my friends wanted
what
to...
about your stepdad? Your stepdad didn't want to...
Well, see, it's not that... I don't know if he wanted to or not. It's just that we weren't close. Like, he came in, they got married to... I'm not going to say... I'm not going to blast my mom. This is Mother's Day, so I'm not about to... Let me sip. I'm not going to blast my mom, but what I will say is, to me, they got married quickly. To the point where I didn't even know how much kids he had. So I'm like, who is this man? And so I didn't want to even build that type of relationship. So I was just standoffish. So if I did have a father-daughter dance or like my senior nights and stuff, I would not want him to come. You're not my dad. Like, so literally I was that type of child. It sucked. But literally I was that one to be like, I want my father there because I know who my father is, and at the end of the day, I want that. So we're also going to speak a little bit more though, because our situations are different, which is why I wanted to do the discussion with you, because I think it's beautiful that you see your stepdad as your dad. Like, he's not my stepdad, he's my dad, Right. However, did it make you feel any type of way at any point in your life? Because isn't that your brother's real dad?
Yes.
Okay. So did it ever make you feel like, man, like...
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. I was a little bit jealous, growing up. You're a kid, know, and you see that my mom has a child with another man, and that's his son. Yeah. That's his son. And he did show him more affection than he did with me. With the affection part, I really think that that's only because in the beginning, he was really like, I don't want to overstep my boundaries, and I don't want to, it's just new for him too. Right. So, but yes, like I did get jealous.
Like, I was jealous a little bit.
Yes, I did get jealous. But I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it was crazy jealous. Right. I knew that, my mom loved me. I knew that, she had all the love for me, and that's all I needed. My dad, my stepdad, he wasn't really affectionate with me, but he taught me right, basically. He raised me right, you know. He showed me discipline, and what's this and what's that.
And do you feel like he wasn't as affectionate because, one, you were a girl? You know what I mean? So sometimes, especially, because especially a man coming into your life, and you're 4, so you're growing bodily parts. And so he's like, let me not overstep my boundaries because I don't want it to be perceived as anything, because at the end of the day, you weren't his biological daughter. So you think that had any impact of you being a girl?
I honestly, I do think it had an impact because growing up, I always look for love in the wrong places.
Okay.
I always went to the bad boys. Always. Yeah. I mean, I guess everybody does. All the girls
Sadly.
do.
Hello.
All the girls do.
Sip the tea.
But I fell in love way too easily. I don't know if that's with all the other girls too, but I mean, if a guy tells me he loves me, I'm like, oh my gosh,
right.
you know, he loves me. So
you love me,
which is completely BS, maybe. But yeah. So I just think that
the lack of affection,
right? It led me to like any kind of guy that there is out there, which is that's gonna say bad.
I love you and you look good and all that.
Oh, okay, I'm getting the affection that I've always wanted, you know. But yeah, it was. I mean, I don't do that, girls.
Right, just don't do that. Let's look directly at the camera. Look at that one for me and just say, don't do that.
Don't do that, girls.
Because literally, I want to add to that. Because I feel like I was the same way. Especially my younger years. Because, okay, yes, we are not old, y'all. Obviously, we sitting up here looking gorgeous. But at the end of the day, it's like when I was in high school, even middle school, I honestly used to always try and get attention from boys. Not in the way that I'm like trying to do stuff, you know, behind the building or nothing. No, but I was literally just trying to hear them say I'm pretty, just trying to be in the in crowd. Just I wanted to be seen by a man, and I feel like that's where my conflict with my father came in. Because it's like, I understand that you love me because at the end of the day, I'm your daughter and you still keep in touch with your kids. I love my father. Let me state that. However, it did affect me that I did not have him present. Because a lot of times people feel like, if I send child support, I'm good. No. I needed you to be here to say, Charmaine, you're beautiful. You don't need account from a validation from another man to tell you that, because I'm gonna tell you that, you know. And so I feel like my lack of that led me to try and seek attention in all the wrong places with all the wrong men, and I was more vulnerable to fall in love like this, you know.
Same. Yeah, I was never single. Like,
me neither.
I've never been single. I don't know what it feels like to be actually
by
single.
yourself,
like,
chilling.
And I don't mean like boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, I've always been talking to a guy. As bad as that sounds, but it's just like, I don't want to feel the loneliness.
No, it's not bad. It's real.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure girls watching this is like, hold on, let me think about it. Think about a time where you've been single. No talking, no flirting, nothing. Single. Like, literally okay with being by yourself. And like you said, the loneliness. I could not be alone. I did not like to not feel like somebody wanted me. I would literally have lineups. Okay, guys, I'm not a hoe, but what I will say, you sip the tea, as I had my days. But I definitely always had to have men lined up. So if one failed, oop, I had another one anyways, honey. I was talking to 5. While you dropped off and you thought you was doing something, I had more. So I didn't care.
It's not a bad thing. Shoot. Guys do it like all the time.
But it just taught me how to cope with that loneliness. You know, and even, I love my husband now, but I'm just putting this out there. Even before I married him, I had a conversation with him and I was like, I can't remember a time where I ain't been cuffed up. Or I ain't been talking to someone. And at the end of the day, like, me and my husband were good, but I was like, I love you, but I need to find me. You know, without the male attention, you know?
Yep, I agree. I agree. I don't know how that feels. I don't think I'm ever going to know how it feels. We'll see.
No, we're trying not to never know how it feels. Okay, we are both happily married and we're going to stay that way. But it's like just finding you in it after you've sat back and looked at your life. It's like, dang, like, why was I seeking so much attention from other people? Why haven't I not been alone? But to go and tie that into like the father discussion, one, do you feel like history repeats itself?
I've always never believed in history repeats itself, but I will say this. It does, because so my mother met my stepdad when I was 4 years old. And then I met my husband now when my daughter is 14 now, when she was 14 years old. Really weird.
Well, when she was 4 years old?
I'm sorry, 4 years old. Really, really weird.
That's crazy.
So I'm like, wait, that's a crazy question, because I'm like, oh, okay.
So did your mother have her father in her life, or?
No, she didn't.
Oh.
No. So.
Wow.
History repeats itself, right?
That is crazy.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, maybe it does. You know, I've never really believed in that.
Yeah, I didn't either until I looked at my life.
Right.
Because as a child, you know, your parents always try to tell you, don't do what I did, don't do this, and you just do not listen, honey. And they know what they talking about because they know the history repeats itself part. We don't until we do it. And literally, looking back at my life, I remember with my first marriage, right? My mother used to tell me, sip the tea, Crystal, sip it for me, honey. My mother used to tell me, you know, when you get into the military, do not marry, don't start having kids, live your life, you are young. And I'm because one, my mom's never been in the military. So I'm like, girl, you can't tell me about the military when you ain't been in. And then I did it. And then I remember I had my first child, not at her age, because she had our brother at 18, I'm pretty sure, 17, and she birthed him at 18. However, at a young age, I had him, my son, Adonis, at the same age my sister had her son. 21, I'm pretty sure. Crazy. It was like 2021. And then we both ended up in a divorce by the time we were like 22, 23, whatever. Because like I was separated at a certain point early. Like literally right after I had my son, she knows she was there. Literally right after, through it all. She was, hold on. Cheers. There through it all. But literally right after I had like my son, and then while I was giving birth to my daughter, me and her father were separated at that point. And my kids are a year back to back. But literally looking at it, I'm like, dang, my mom even told me not to do this. Now I'm ended up
crazy?
Right.
Yeah,
now I'm ended up divorced, remarried, just like she was. Divorced, boyfriend, no offense, mom. Boyfriend, remarried, and now I'm here. You know?
Right.
And I'm like, history repeats itself.
That's crazy. And you want to try to break that, you know? Like, I tried to tell my daughter, after high school, go to college, don't get pregnant, don't do what don't do what I did, please don't, you know?
But you can only hope. Because if they're like us, they ain't gonna listen. And they're gonna be like, you don't know life.
Or they will say, but you did it, so why?
I say that all the time. I'm like, but you did it, so like, what's wrong if I do it? But look, you don't want to struggle like I struggled. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I honestly feel like history repeats itself. And like you said, you did it, so your daughter was 4. So were you scared to marry Fook before everything? Or
I was scared. Obviously more happy than scared.
Right.
But I was nervous, you know, bringing my daughter into this new relationship and getting to know this new man. But they hit it off. They were really good. He's not really a kid type. He's not really a kid type, or he's never been really a kid type. So it was really hard to break him out of that. It took maybe a year for him to actually get comfortable with my daughter Chrislyn. And after that year, it was perfect. It was, you know, like he tried, you know, showing her affection and disciplining her with me. I remember Charmaine one time. You know, she's my kid. Right. You know what I mean? But we're married and we have to like raise the kids together. Right. But I remember Charmaine one time, she told me, she's like, Crystal, you need to let him discipline her too. Yeah.
But the reason I said that, let me point that out, because watch, my husband's gonna watch this and be like, you told her that? Because I told my husband, you ain't until after a certain amount of years. Right. But I said that because he knew Chrislyn since she was 4. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like, and at that time that I knew them, I had met Chrislyn when she was like 10, 11. So yeah, I had knew her around that time. So it had already been 6, 7 years. So I'm like, girl, you better let him say she grounded or something. Take that TV away, something, you know.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because it's like, I know in the beginning I was like, wait, you cannot discipline my kid when you're not showing her affection. You know, you have to do both. Right. You know,
because like, you don't want her to just think like, oh, why is he so mean to me?
Yeah, yeah, you have to. Yeah. I mean, that goes with every step parent. You know, it's like you have to show them that you love them, and that's what kids are all about. Is just the affection when you first start to know somebody, is the affection. Like, does this man or woman really feel some type of way about me, you know, really love me or no, you know, like the kids know. The kids,
they do.
The kids feel it. Kids really, really feel it. So So I had to tell him, you know, you have to show both. You have to
right.
show affection and discipline. If you want to show discipline, you have to show affection first.
Right. And I think that is a good point that you say, like, you have to have a balance. Because even in my situation, my husband now was the first man that I had ever brought around my kids. Honestly, some of my friends haven't even met my kids yet, because my kids are near and dear to me. So I'm not just going to let any and everybody be around them at all. You know what I mean? And their father is definitely present in their life. So I don't need you to play stepdad, or not stepdaddy, but I don't need you to play daddy at the end of the day, because their dad is down the street. So their dad will come get them. Right. But what I did feel is like, you can't automatically come in the relationship though and be overly nice, because then they're going to look at you as a friend. So you have to have a good balance. Like, you still have to have that authoritative, like, demeanor, so that they're like, okay, this is still an adult, but it's a fun adult that I can trust, and that I am trusting, learning how to trust. Because that was one of my issues getting into my new marriage. I was like, you're just play fighting with my son all the time. He gonna think you a bigger brother. And what did he do? JJ, you're my big brother. No, he's not. No, he's not. But now that he had found the balance, now he's like, JJ's my best friend. And now, sometimes he actually asks him, like, can I call you daddy? That literally made me cry.
That's cute.
Right, that made me cry, because I was like, wow.
It's not like you even had to tell him, like, he actually wanted to do it himself.
Right. I will never tell my kids, like, oh, this is your dad. No, they have a dad, but if my kids at the end of the day feel like they're this close to this man, that they're like, can I call you daddy? My kids call him daddy.
Right.
And sometimes I'm like, because I would never want my kids calling somebody else mommy. But at the end of the day, it's like, if they feel that loved by that person and they feel that much trust with that person, then it's like...
Right. And that's what I've always said. It's like, the more love that you have, the better. It's like, why not? I don't think step parents should always feel the need to... Or not the need, but I don't feel like... I'm sorry, baby mamas and baby daddies should hate on the step parents, because at the end of the day, your kid is loved.
Yes.
And if they're not loved,
then that's different.
Then that's different, But yeah, I know that Kirslyn too, when me and Fu got married, she's like, well, can I start calling him daddy?
Right.
Sure.
But let's talk about that though, because obviously I know their story, because this is like my best friend. But like Kirslyn, right? She didn't really have her dad present there, or did she?
Okay, so she actually had her dad up until, I want to say 5 years old. Okay. We lived in El Paso, Texas. He's from El Paso, Texas. So she would see him here and there. We moved to Arizona. That's where I met my husband currently. And he stopped communicating with her. He was incarcerated for about, I don't know, like 7 years. So she's a kid, so she's not gonna ask, where her real dad is. Right. She's already built this relationship with this man. So yeah, he was incarcerated. He came out of prison. I got a weird phone call from some number. I don't know. So I just picked up. He's like, hey, it's me. I'm out of prison. Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. We're in Virginia, actually. She was already 11. Yeah. So from 5 to 11 years old, not a word from her dad. So
he never wrote her, whatever you say, written?
Yeah, he never wrote her. Yeah, he never,
never wrote her.
He never wrote her. No, no.
Can you call when you're in prison?
He can, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I did not know that. I was not trying to put nobody on blast. I really didn't.
No, and I'm not trying to blast him. Yeah. But no, he never, I'm just speaking facts. He never called, he never written, wrote.
I know, that's so weird. But see, I failed grammar, so I don't really care.
I should know this. I'm just kidding.
We're both in school.
I know. So no, and when and I've always wondered, like, I wonder why he has never contacted her, or he's never wrote her. She's learning how to actually write, and stuff like that. So it'd be cool if he sent a letter,
and then write it back to him.
Exactly, it would have been cool, but And I've asked him when he first called that one time, I'm like, why out of the blue? You know, like, why are you doing this now? And he said that he didn't have my information. But, I mean, it's social media. It's, like, big nowadays. And
I'm pretty sure people in jail.
His family has me on Facebook. You know, El Paso is a really small city. So, like, one of his family members can contact me, ask for my information. But, no, I mean, I will give him props, though. He did really step up, you know.
When he got out.
When he got out, yeah. At 11 years old, he would, when Kristen was 11 years old, he would always say, I'm sorry, you know, I want to be in her life. And it was really hard. It was really hard for somebody to, like, just pop up back into her life like that. For not only for me, but especially for my daughter. Like, Kristen was just like, wait, what?
Right. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about how that impacted her. Not just the pop-up, though, but the disappearance. Because, like you said, she kind of knew who her dad was already. She was 5 when he left. But then seeing another man come in, it's like, wait. You know, so couldn't that kind of confuse a child?
Not really. Like we've discussed, like, me and her are the same growing up. You know, her dad is my husband. Right. You know what I mean?
And he was there.
And he was there, and he raised her, and he supported us, and all this. So she saw him as a father figure, so it didn't negatively impact her at all. You know, she looks to Fook as a dad, you know? I mean, she calls him dad, you know? And, I mean, now, though, she's trying really, really hard to be to be more like, okay, I have to really, you know, try to work on my relationship with my real dad because now he's in my life, you know? And I will never talk bad about him, and I would never be like, no, Kristlyn, you cannot, you know, you can't let him come back into your life. No. I always supported the fact that he wanted to be in her life.
Wow. You know? So I do want to hit on that point a little bit because, like you said, you would never talk bad about, you know, her father to her, regardless if he was there or not, or if he left or not. And I feel the same way, but are you saying that because that's how your mother was towards you? Like, even though your dad wasn't there shit at all, Lord forgive me, but your dad was not there, okay? But, like, did your mom ever, like, bash him, or was she like, no, I'm not even gonna say nothing? Like,
yeah, and I think I am the way I am because my mom raised me right. You know, my mom, she never talked bad about my real dad. You know, she's never, you know, she's always said, you know, if he comes back into your life, give it a try. And I'm just like, I don't think I want. Now that I'm older, I don't feel the need to. So, and I think that's why I say that to Kristlyn, you know. I mean, she's older now, so I'm like, you can go ahead and make your own, not with everything, but like with relationships and stuff, you know, like if you want him in your life, you need to go ahead and
try for it.
Yeah, you need to try, you know, and if not, I mean, you're 14, and sorry to say, you know, he gets mad sometimes. Her dad gets mad sometimes. Like, why isn't Kristlyn calling me or anything like that?
Well,
I'm
older.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't even want to talk to me.
Right.
You know, so it's
I said right.
She doesn't even want to have, like, a decent conversation with me because she's 14 years old. Right. She's not going to, you know, like, and if you're out of town and you hardly ever see her, you know, it's going to be harder.
Yeah, because it's awkward. It's an awkward situation.
Yeah,
that's how I feel, though. But, you know, I will say this. I don't feel like my mom, being honest, transparent with the camera, okay? I don't feel like my mom always talked bad about my dad, and when we got older, she stopped completely because when I told my dad and my mom, don't tell me about my mom, don't tell me about my dad. I don't care. Don't, you know, like, don't talk bad about my parents because at the end of the day, you're my mom, he's my dad. So you chose the person. So don't talk to me negatively about them. I just feel like I was there, though, during the whole battle that they had. And so that was one thing that I always told myself when I was young, which is why I actually got really upset with myself when I got older, that I put my kids in the same situation as far as, like, combating with the other parent. And that's why when me and their father split, I was like, I know you need to be in your kid's life. I want you to be in your kid's life. But what I don't want is for my kids to get confused with the whole situation. You know, because obviously we split on reasons of cheating and all that type of stuff. And, you know.
Tea again.
Tea again. Hold on. Cheers. Okay. Because Crystal was there. I just want to put that out. That's why. But literally, it's like we split on different type of terms than my parents did. So, you know, I was just thinking that, okay, if I ever have a baby daddy, we're going to split on the same terms that my parents did. You just stop messing with each other. No. We split on cheating terms. And, you know, I had to shut my mouth. Yeah. Just like you said, You don't ever want to talk bad about the parent. But I definitely, even though my kids are young, I have to shut my mouth sometimes because he is still with the woman that he cheated on me with. And at some point, I'm like, your kids are going to ask.
They're going to find out.
Yeah,
sooner
exactly.
or later, in the future, in the long run, they are going to,
and like I said, I am not on here bashing nobody. I am here telling the truth. That's it. Telling facts. Facts. And I feel, but I had to take a step back because I'm going to relate this to the discussion. I had to take a step back as their mother to say, but that's still their father. No matter what he did to me, no matter what happened between our marriage or our relationship, that is still the father of my children. Right. And I will respect the fatherly part. Right. Yes. I remember even one day when he was like, are you talking about me? I don't say nothing about you. Because sometimes, you know, Adonis will say he's mean. If he gets put on timeout or something. And I'm like, boy, that's just because he's mad you putting him on timeout. And he's like, oh, I'm just trying to make sure. I don't talk about you in my house. Because at the end of the day, kids are going to come up with their own assumptions, whatever, you know. And then when they get older, they're going to ask and they're going to sit us down and your kids will know the truth. That's all I say.
Exactly. They're going to find out know the on truth. Their own. So it's like, there's no need, especially when they're little. They don't need to put that on.
Ever. Why would I tell a 3 or 4 year old that? Ain't nobody, girl, it ain't your business. Right. Wait till you can understand and you get older.
No, but as we're talking about like not bashing our exes and stuff, my daughter does ask me, you know, what happened to you and my dad.
Wow, already?
Yeah, she's 14.
14, girl. Yeah, but you wouldn't think they care. Shoot, I was still playing with Barbie, so I was 18, honey.
No, she's 14, so she'll ask me, you know, what happened.
And then when you tell them, that's the bad part. Because then they're like, oh, so why do I gotta talk to him? Especially Kristlyn. Kristlyn and you are super close. I will say that. Yeah. Whether you say, oh, she doesn't talk to me like that, but she is so close to you.
No, yeah, she does. She does. Right. I have to like be like, you know, I have to
kind of get it out of her.
Yeah. I have to get it out of her. But no, she'll ask me and she'll be like, so what happened to you and my dad? She's still with us in our household. She'll still call him by his name, Adrian. Okay. But when she's in his household,
she'll call him Dad.
Okay. Right. But she'll be like, what happened with you and Adrian? And I'll tell her the truth. Like, what am I going to say? I'm not going to lie to her. Right. You know what I mean? I'll tell her, you know, he was a cheater as well. So,
take this little
but honestly though, she doesn't look down on him.
That's like, good.
She doesn't talk crap about him or is like, oh, well then I don't like him anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, she respects him. Yeah. I respect him, and now props to him. He's doing really good. He tries to contact her like every freaking day. It's kind of annoying, but
that's good though. That's good.
But it's good. Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
See, I'm hoping that my moment is going to be like that. I'm actually hoping my kids don't ask. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm hoping because, like I said, the woman is still in his life. They have a child together, but I don't want them to.
Numa. Right?
Oh yeah, my daughter. Like, she's just. She in the mix, honey. She is in the mix. But I don't ever want them to look at her
bad.
As exactly. My situation is way different. Yeah. Because I want them to still, like I said, to me, a father is very important, especially since I didn't grow up with a father. You know, and I don't want them to come to that moment of like, I can't stand that man. How dare he do that to my mother? But at the end of the day, it's like the truth. You know?
Yeah, what are you going to say? You know?
I don't know.
Like, what would you say?
I might just say, you know what, ask your dad. Because I want to hear the story. I want to hear the story, okay? Right. But honestly, it's like, I do have to tell my kids the truth. I'm not a liar. I tell everybody the truth. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, it's going to be hard, but hey, fathers, you know, that's why we're having this discussion right now.
That's what happens when you do the stuff you do.
Right, exactly. But I just want to say thank you so much for coming onto the show. But is there any last piece of advice that you would want to give to a single mother out there or just a mother in general?
Yes, of course. Single mothers. Focus on yourself,
please,
girl.
Please.
Continue to strive, to work hard. You have your kids, you know, you have, or your kid, to work for,
mm-hmm.
you know. I always struggled, but I've always tried to, like, work hard for my kids.
Mm-hmm.
I love my kids, you know, and I will do anything for them, and I know you all would too.
Mm-hmm.
Always, like I said, focus on yourself. Continue to reach your goals. Keep reaching your goals.
Yes.
Don't stop. Like, if
yes.
you want to go to school, go to school. It's going to be hard. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be, you're going to, this up and down,
right.
up and down.
Roller coaster.
Going.
Yes.
Keep going, because at the end of the day, your child only has you.
Right.
You know, and go to school.
Go to school, seriously. And I want to say congratulations, though, because she done got her degree, honey. Okay, elevation. Oh, well.
Better late than never.
Exactly. Oh,
One
well.
thing I will tell you, go to school early.
Right. Shoot, me too. That's what I'm trying to do now. I done got one of my degrees. I still need like 3 more, honestly. Right. I'm trying to get my PhD. Yeah. But I just want to say you are an incredible woman. Seriously. Yeah. Since I first met her, honestly, people did not think we would be friends. I know. Because our personalities are so like kind of different.
You know her. She's
right.
like out there, and I'm more mellow.
Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh.
But we like are like this.
Yes, exactly. Her saying for me is hilarious. I hear it in my head when I do something crazy. She's like, freaking Charmaine. But literally, I just want to say you are an incredible mother. Just even, like I said, I've known her daughter for a few years, and just seeing the growth and just seeing her, I watched her give birth, y'all.
Same,
okay, I was in the room. She was in my room. That's how close we was. But literally, just seeing your growth and you becoming the woman that you wanted to become. Since we've been talking since freaking 2014, 2015 time frame. And how you always said, this is what I want to do for myself, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
I love that about you. And you're doing it with kids, a husband, you bad. You know, and you look
this
good.
girl, no, you have to. Girl, no. This girl, though, you know her. She's always going for her goals.
Yeah,
always
no, because you have to. And that would be, like you said, my advice for a mother out there. Even because I was a single mother at the point. I was flirting, but I was still a single mother. Ain't nobody came around my kids. Yeah. Nobody helped me. Them long nights where I was crying and like, how can I do this? I don't want to be by myself. Because my divorce was not planned.
It was hard.
But it was hard. But I did it. You know what I'm saying? And I
always tell her, like, girl, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you did it. But dang.
Because she knows I would cry to her a lot. Dang. Like, I can't believe this happened to me. But at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. You better pick your head up and keep moving. Because the number one thing that somebody will hate seeing you do is to make it in life. And to strive and to push and to thrive in it. Why do you think it's called Young, Dumb, and Thriving, honey?
Yes.
Young, Dumb, and Thriving. Because I will make the world silence while I'm thriving in it, honey. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But thank you so much for being on the show. All right. Yes. And I want to say thank you guys for watching another segment of Young, Dumb, and Thriving.
Hey, you keep watching. We'll keep spilling more tea.
More tea, honey.
Audio Jungle.